Hello, I'm Ron Burgundy. Today we're going to be talking about utility. Utility is the satisfaction created by the composition of goods and services. Today we will explore the concept of utility and how this is used in economics. And for this we're going to need someone, our specialty on the subject, Ed Schwartz. Ed, come hither. Ed?
What? Oh, hey. Hi.
Ed is going to help us illustrate utility by volunteering to consume a product and help us to better understand that utility and what it is made of.
I am?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Today, we're in Walmart looking for what Ed finds delicious. In other words, gives him utility.
How many in the package? So you're eating it. Think about it.
Have you found anything?
Down you go. Down you go.
There must be something. Ah. See, Ed enjoys Dr. Pepper, and he enjoys it so much that he's willing to spend all of his money on it. So basically, Ed will purchase the Dr. Pepper so long as the utility is greater than the opportunity cost. Pretty simple. So Ed, why do you like Dr. Pepper so much?
I love Dr. Pepper because of the authentic flavor of the 23 blends. But I'm confused. How do we measure utility when it comes to consumption?
Silly Ed. Utility can't be measured in an objective fashion. In fact, it is not even possible to measure utility across people just because everyone's tastes and preferences are so different.
Huh.
Yeah. It's basically, nevertheless, anyway, the economic model of consumer behavior is easier to understand if we assume utility is something directly measurable, like temperature.
I did not know that.
Opened up my grandpa's pocket knife, and I was back to his back porch. It was summertime. I was
Back to the presentation. So also, because you like Dr. Pepper, you're going to buy it over Coke, Pepsi, everything else because you like it more.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see here, there's this convenient definition of preferences applied to utility. It is assumed that the customer is able to evaluate the utility gained from the consumption of alternative goods and is able to establish a system of preferences between any two goods at one time.
Oh, okay. Well, what other things are involved with the consumption of Dr. Pepper and the utilities I obtain from it?
Well, actually, there are 5 points that are pretty important in helping us understand utility. 1, we assume that you have some sort of budget constraint so that you won't have the ability to buy all that you want. You'll have that limitation. 2nd, we also assume that your objective as the consumer is to obtain the most utility, in other words, to be a utility maximizer. Oh, hello. When we combine these 2 points together, we have the definition of another point, our 3rd point, being the equimarginal principle of optimization, which is, in order to optimize utility, given a limited budget, the consumer will adjust the consumption pattern such that marginal utility per dollar of expenditure for each good, which is the same.
So what you're saying is Because my budget constraint, I'll also have to adjust my Dr. Pepper purchasing so that my utility stays the same throughout the duration that I have the product.
Yeah, and it'll have a direct relation to a little thing I like to call le moo.
What?
Le moo, which in French means law of diminishing marginal utility. This meaning that the more a consumer consumes, the less utility they will have or they will receive.
So I'm going to gain more utility by drinking 1 can of Dr. Pepper a day than from drinking all of them and getting a stomach ache?
Theoretically, that is correct.
But I like stomach aches.
There will probably still be some loss of utility, but it won't be as great as if you were to drink 12 cans at once.
I think I'm starting to understand this utility stuff. Anything else?
Yes, one more thing. The next time you go to the store to buy that Dr. Pepper, remember that even though purchasing the product, some folks, and maybe even yourself, seem to gain utility from the act of purchasing the product besides the utility they obtain from consuming.
Wow. I sure will, Mr. Burgundy.
Yeah. As for me, I think my job here is done. My name's Ron Burgundy, signing off. And remember, stay classy, BYU, Idaho.
How's that, Dr. Pepper? That looks pretty good.
Huh? Oh, you so did not.
Yep, I asked you how the Dr. Pepper was.
That was literal.
We're filming.
You didn't say that, you ding dong. So I guess you'll have to scratch that.